The Green Man Gaming summer sale is here, and look what's on sale, fellas. Look. Just look, go buy it. Before you even watch this video, just go buy it. There are a lot of difficult games out there, and a lot of these games really like to showcase the fact that they're hard, they're challenging. I mean, Dark Souls literally had the subtitle Prepare to Die edition when it was bundled with the DLC. That's not subtle, you know, they really want you to know that it's a hard game. But what I find interesting is when a game is kind of like a Trojan horse when it comes to its difficulty. It may look whimsical and kid-friendly from the outside, but when you play it, it is ball-bustingly hard, and it's just disgusting. How did the developers expect kids to play through this? This was really prominent back in like the PS1 and PS2 days, and it's not as common now, but I've experienced this way too much with so many different games that I want to talk about today. And the first one I want to talk about is Kingdom Hearts 1. Now, I don't know if this is just a giant skill issue on my part, but Kingdom Hearts 1 is a very difficult game, and that is just on the normal difficulty. I struggle in this game on the normal difficulty. I know there are a lot of elitists out there who are like, oh, you need to play on critical or proud, whatever the fuck the hard difficulty is called, and normal's actually really easy. And it's like, yeah, maybe on like the 8th playthrough, but on your first playthrough on normal, this game is tough. It does not hold back, and it's really confusing because, I mean, just look at it. It's a Disney game. You're literally a child carrying a giant key accompanied by Goofy and Donald Duck. It's not exactly a game you would expect to be as challenging as it is. This isn't me taking a jab at Kingdom Hearts 1, by the way. I really do like Kingdom Hearts 1. It's actually my favorite Kingdom Hearts in the entire series. But yeah, I dropped this game quite a few times while playing through because I just found so many elements of it really hard and just downright frustrating. Like the combat, for example, it is pretty stiff. I don't think anyone can deny this. Kingdom Hearts 1 combat hasn't aged well. I find it charming. I love myself a bit of jank, but it is not aged well, and it doesn't help the fact that enemies hit like an absolute truck. And it's not like an Arkham game where enemies wait their turn to attack, or, you know, sometimes they get a bit greedy and they do attack while another enemy's attacking you, but there's a giant indicator above the head for them to be countered. Kingdom Hearts has none of that. Kingdom Hearts is more hardcore than a Batman game, and that is because enemies just bombard you from every single direction, and there are enemies that rush you, there are enemies with ranged attacks, there are enemies that fly around you and like dive down to get you. Like, there's so many different enemy types in Kingdom Hearts 1 that are just designed to fuck you up. Sora's a child in this game, by the way. I just want to remind you of that. This kid goes through literal hell. I say literal hell. It's a Kingdom Hearts game. The bosses are no different too. I mean, even some of the Disney orientated bosses, like the guy at the end of Deep Jungle, I don't know his name, he gets hung at the end of the film, and it's pretty dark. It's on like all of those dark ways villains die in Disney films. Shit, you know the one I'm talking about. He's on a giant invisible lizard, and he's got a shotgun, and it's a hit scan shotgun, so he can hit you from anywhere. It's fucking irritating. This game is hard. Don't get me started on the final boss either. That is a gauntlet of pure hell. I love you, Kingdom Hearts 1, but you misled a lot of kids. You probably ruined a lot of kids' childhood. Probably also made a lot of kids' childhood really good because, you know, a lot of people are into Kingdom Hearts, and a lot of people complained that Kingdom Hearts 3 was too easy, so maybe they're just masochists. I mean, fair, you know, I can't blame them. Now, the next game I want to talk about is one that I talk about a lot on this channel, very near and dear to me, but it took me over a year to beat when I was a kid, and that is Ratchet Clank 1. Now, Ratchet Clank 1 is tough for a lot of different reasons. For starters, there is no strafe button. It is a third-person shooter game where you can't move from side to side to avoid enemy projectiles. Now, that is a debilitating thing in any third-person shooter game. Almost every third-person shooter game, you're moving left to right to avoid enemy attacks, enemy projectiles, and you just can't do that in Ratchet Clank 1, which obviously feels janky, doesn't feel great, and it doesn't feel all too well designed, especially later in the game when enemies do have way faster projectiles, they're far more aggressive, and there's way more of them at once. Luckily, there are some weapons that can help you bypass these sections, like the Visibomb gun, the biggest crutch in the entire game, although you can just also scope in with the Devastator, or if you're really insane, you go in with the Tesla Claw and just hold the shoot button and jump around and just pray to the gods above that you don't die. I don't think it helps as well that you only start with 4 hit points in the beginning. Later Ratchet and Clank games, you got like a numerical health bar that goes up to like 100, so you can take a lot of beatings. and also there's armor, all that stuff, you know, to help increase your defense. Ratchet & Clank 1 has none of that. You have 4 hit points, which you can upgrade later, but it's actually pretty tough to find, and it costs a lot. So if you get hit 4 times, you're dead. And it doesn't help that the checkpoint system is brutal. You can lose like half a level's worth of progress if you fuck up or die. So yeah, Ratchet & Clank 1 is absolutely brutal, which you wouldn't expect because it's a colorful platformer game from the PlayStation 2 era. Insomniac are evil. This game took me over a year to beat as a kid. I was dedicated, man. I mean, can you blame me? Ratchet & Clank 1 is peak. Like, who would give up playing this game? Now, the next game I want to talk about, I think, is a universal experience for a lot of people, and that game is Cuphead. Now, from an outsider's perspective, Cuphead doesn't look that bad. It is this colorful rubber hose animation before it became oversaturated and fucking irritating, like mouse PI for hire and all that shit. Styled game. It looks amazing. It's a silly 2D platformer and also a silly little boss rush game. Again, from an outsider's perspective, it doesn't look that bad. But when you actually play the game, this game is fucking evil, man. I don't even know what to say. My editor, I bought him this game to get some footage, and he said he needs to put down a $1,000 deposit to buy a new monitor because he will end up breaking it. Cuphead is hardcore. It is brutal. It's so hard. And just looking at footage does not give the difficulty of this game justice. Like, when you're playing it yourself, like, even in the beginning, it is just brutal. The game bombards you with projectiles all over the screen. There's so much visual noise constantly. It's just so much going on. It is so overstimulating constantly, but it's great. It's not badly designed or anything like that. It's hard but fair, but the difficulty is brutally hard. So you don't really think it's fair in the moment, but when you do beat the boss, you overcome that challenge, you're like, yeah, that was good. That was fair. But obviously, you know, you need to get to the point of beating it. Most people just smash their controller and call it a day, which I don't blame them for. Especially that robot boss with the scientist in the robot's head. That shit is borderline almost impossible. I hate that boss. I actually rage quit on that boss multiple times. I have beaten Cuphead though. Haven't played the DLC yet though, so maybe look out for that on a backlog video when I eventually gain the courage to play that shit. Good lord. Now the next game I want to talk about is Devil May Cry 1. Now, obviously Devil May Cry 1 is not a colourful game aimed towards children, which probably is confusing a lot of people as to why it's on this list, you know? A lot of people probably would expect Devil May Cry 1 to be tough, but you'd be surprised because a lot of people started the series with Devil May Cry 5, and Devil May Cry 5 is a pretty piss-easy game. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, man. Devil May Cry 5 is really easy when you get to grips with the mechanics. You don't even need to get to grips with the mechanics. You can just beat the game by just mashing the same buttons over and over again. It's really just not that hard. But Devil May Cry 1 is a game that will punish you for doing that, and it is just, it's brutal for it, man. This game does not hold back on anything at all, from its enemies to its bosses to even its level design. Like, you can get fucked up by the platforming in this game, which is something they streamlined in Devil May Cry 5. Even the platforming is hard in Devil May Cry 1. I mean, like, even the puppet enemies in the introduction of the game, they're evil. They don't hold back. They're extremely aggressive. There are different variations of them, some that do ranged attacks, some that come up to you and bash you in the face with their weapon. They don't hold back. They're evil fuckers. And don't get me started on the bosses. I hate the bosses in Devil May Cry 1. Okay, that's a lie. I don't like Nightmare. Nightmare, the big black blob of just, well, he's a nightmare. He's horrible. I hate this boss. You can't tell what's going on 90% of the time when you're fighting Nightmare, and he's such a shit boss that one of his special moves later in the game is making you refight another boss from before. So Nightmare can go fuck himself. But even some of the other bosses are like, they're gatekeepers, like Phantom the Spider, the first boss that you actually encounter. So many people quit at this point. This boss is probably the biggest gatekeeper of the Devil May Cry franchise, next to Cerberus from Devil May Cry 3. This fucker he's horrible. He's an asshole. I hate him. Devil May Cry 1 is a brutal game, and you just wouldn't expect it to be as hard as it is, really. Now, the next game I want to talk about is LittleBigPlanet 1. Now, I'm probably going to get bullied for thinking that LittleBigPlanet 1 is a tough game, and rightfully so, but there's one section in LittleBigPlanet specifically that is just evil. It is awful, and it's in the Russia world where you get to, like, I think it's in the second or the first level, where it's like this big military-esque base, and then there's this giant spinning wheel that you just need to like conquer, right? I don't know, you'll understand if you've played LittleBigPlanet 1, but fuck this wheel. This wheel is the thing of nightmares. You basically have to go down to the bottom of it, and whilst it's moving, you're in one spot, and you have to like, you don't have time to think. You need to make these perfect pinpoint jumps or you're dead. It doesn't help as well that LittleBigPlanet has a life system, you know, it's kind of old school like that, so if you die too many times in this wheel, you're fucked. You have to redo the entire level again. And it is just made 20 times worse if you're playing with friends, because you just can't tell what's going on. It is just so much happening all at once. It doesn't help that past the weddings level, the wedding world, the third one, when you get to Mexico, the difficulty just starts ramping up heavily. I don't know what it is. Like the part where you have to carry bombs through a cave, you know the one I'm talking about. That shit is so hard. You need to be so like careful, because if one of those bombs even hits one of the little spiky cave edges, dead. That's a life gone. Fucking explosion. LittleBigPlanet is evil. It's another evilly brutal game, and I don't know if it's just a me thing. I know the wheel's pretty infamous, but I just found LittleBigPlanet overall pretty challenging as a whole. I wouldn't even dare trying to ace all of the levels in this game. Beating them all without dying once, fuck that. Now the last game I want to talk about is Romeo Is a Deadman. I didn't think Romeo Is a Deadman was going to be as hard as it was, because Suda51 games are not usually that challenging. I beat Lollipop Chainsaw recently, and that was pretty much just a walk in the park. And I even 100%ed Shadows of the Damned, which required me playing it on hard difficulty, and even that was, it was just pretty easy, man. I don't know what else to say about that one. But Romeo Is a Deadman is just, I don't know, it's really hard. It requires a lot of thinking in the moment against all the different enemy types, and none of the enemy types are pushovers either. Even the basic zombie-esque enemies, they can hit hard. They can hit pretty hard if you're not paying attention or just you don't have your guard up. Don't get me started on the bosses though. That's the real difficulty spike in Romeo Is a Deadman. These bosses, all of them are evil. They are brutal. They are disgusting. And even the first one, which is this giant head, I died I think about 3 times to this thing, and I was caught completely off guard. I streamed it on my channel, by the way, if you want to watch me fight it. But I was caught completely off guard by what was going on. Like, these bosses have moves that just like completely wipe the floor with your health bar. They're like entire screen wipe moves that can catch you completely off guard if you're not paying attention. And the final boss of this game, which I'm not going to show here, I'm going to make another video called Tough Bosses That Made Me Rage Quit in the Future. But yeah, that final boss, it made me rage quit. I had to take a break from the game before I came back to it. This game is brutal. It is so hard. I don't know what Suda51 was smoking while making this game, but I want some of it, because goddamn, this was a challenging game. Thank you all so much for watching this video. My voice may sound a bit different right now because I'm quite ill. Yeah, there's something going around and I feel like I'm on death's door, but you know, the grind doesn't stop. I gotta keep making videos for you all. And obviously, time to recommend some Green Man Gaming deals, because they're doing their summer sale right now. And let's start with Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, which is 87% off. £2.11. That's just a steal. It's such an underrated open world game. It still looks really good and it plays so well. If you like Arkham combat, this game does it perfectly. The next game I want to recommend is the Kingdom Hearts Integrum Masterpiece. Don't know why it's called that. It's just every single Kingdom Hearts game. 65% off for £30. That's like 8 games you're getting for £30, and they're very meaty, long games. I highly recommend this one. And the last one I want to recommend is The Wolf Among Us. If you're looking forward to The Wolf Among Us 2, you can get the first game for 60% off here. It's pretty good. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I do recommend checking it out. You know, a lot of people love it for a reason, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, you might be. So if you want to check it out, you can't really go wrong for £4.80. And with that, I just want to thank my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. You know, I'm always extremely thankful for that, and I just really appreciate it. Same goes to my channel members. Thank you just so much. I want to start doing more for you guys. Like, I'm not entirely sure what yet. I'm pretty ill, so I can't think right now, but yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for supporting me and watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.